Welcome to episode 55 of Uncaged Sports Talk. Here on this episode, we're going to talk a little college football. Going to keep it brief. As most of my listeners know, most of the people that listen to me know, most of my friends know, I'm not the biggest college football fan, but there's meaningful football finally back. None of this preseason shit anymore. There is meaningful football finally back this week. As you can tell by the title, Week 0 of college football is finally here. And when people hear Week 0, like casuals, they might be like preseason. No, meaningful football. Games actually matter. One team's already off to a rough start, if you haven't heard already. Delaware State. They took buses to JFK and had a bus issue, which led to them missing their flight to Hawaii. 4,900-mile flight to Hawaii, 10 and a half hours to Hawaii, and they missed the flight. Delaware State, you're already off to a rough start. I don't know why I put you in here as an honorable mention for my Luke's Locks that have finally returned. Luke's Locks are back. One of my favorite segments. Luke's Locks and Luke's Lists are like a staple of this channel. I love doing the Luke's Locks. I'll get into that in just a minute. Eagles made a big move. Not big, but you added a wide receiver 3. You added more depth to that wide receiver room. Jahan Dotson. Jahan Dotson, with subpar QB play, has put up 500 yards both years he's been in the league. 7 touchdowns his rookie year, 4 touchdowns last year. He's had some drop issues, but he's put up some yards with subpar QB play. I'll take him as a third option. He's an upgrade over Quez Watkins. At least he should be. So I'm excited to see what Jahan Dotson can do. See how he gets us going this year. See what he can do in that third receiver role. I still want to see some action for Britton Covey. Britton Covey's like my favorite random Eagle on the team. He's in my top 3 Eagles on the team. Maybe like in terms of favorites. Maybe my second favorite behind Devontae. I don't know why, but I have an affinity for Britton Covey ever since his rookie year when it looked like he got his head taken off every play. And then in that Super Bowl, he had a huge return. I remember all 4 of us, me, my dad, my step uncle Brian, and Logan, we were all going nuts when he had that return. We were like, let's go Covey. Let's go Covey. I remember going nuts when he had that return. I don't know why I have that affinity for Covey. One of my fantasy team names is actually, I named Britton Covey Fan Club, the BCFC. The BCFC, the Britton Covey Fan Club. I kind of stole that from someone I know. Someone I know had a team named Quez Watkins Fan Club for a while. So I just made mine Britton Covey Fan Club. I'm excited to see what he can do in the regular season. I will be at the preseason game this weekend, so hopefully he'll get some touches in that. Tanner McKee to Britton Covey. I want to see that touchdown. Please give me a Tanner McKee to Britton Covey touchdown Saturday afternoon. Also, while I'm on air, if you're watching this, I can post a link in the chat. Please go donate to a fund that I care about right now. Someone I know, a family friend, has adrenal cancer. Please go donate money. I'll put the link in the comments to that to go donate to on the GoFundMe. Please do that. That would be greatly appreciated. And remember, on a lighter note, go visit my friend Dan the Man Stanley at Sheridan Nissan, where he will hook you up with a new car. Just let them know Luke Saranka and Uncaged Sports Talk sent you. We might have to go there for my cousin soon, but we'll see. We'll see how that works out. Now, without further ado, the return of Luke's locks for college football week 0. I did not take the official lines. I did alternate lines for these, except for the only one that Bet Rivers didn't have a line for. I put as an honorable mention. I put the 3 bets into a parlay with alternate lines. And without further ado, here we go. First, I'm going to get into my honorable mention. I took Delaware. I would take, if you can find it on an app, I would take Delaware State plus 40. Delaware State plus 40. Granted, I know they had their flight issues, but they're playing Hawaii. Hawaii's not great either. Delaware State sucks. Don't get me wrong. They played Delaware 11 times. Delaware versus Delaware State have played 11 times. Delaware State hasn't won a single time. The closest margin of victory was 10 points. Last time Delaware and Delaware State played, it was 35-9. Delaware beat Delaware State. A blowout city. The problem with this game for Hawaii, or with the line, that line is way too hefty for me not to take Delaware State. I know I'm not supposed to root for Delaware State at all. They're a rival of the Hens. But Delaware State, or Hawaii is not good either. Hawaii is not good either. They're one of the worst FBS teams. Delaware would most likely be able to beat Hawaii. I really think Delaware could beat Hawaii. Now, the travel could hurt Delaware State in this game, but I'll take that plus 40 any day. Hawaii is not a good football team either. Just run the ball, Delaware State. Let that clock tick. I trust them to just be able to run the ball like the clock tick. Don't put the ball on the ground. You're going to get killed. You're going to get your ass beat. But don't put the ball on the ground and just let that clock tick. Don't pass. Please don't pass. And you'll cover. Now, for my official picks, I put all these into a parlay. It came out to plus 158. It was like $10 to win like 17, so or $17 profit. $10.56 to win like 17 something. Florida State minus 5.5 against Georgia Tech. The opener in Dublin at noon on Saturday. I'll probably be trying to watch that a little here and there on my phone. I'd take Florida State minus 5.5. The official line is 10.5 right now, but I would do 5.5. Because opening games can be funny. I think Florida State comes out with the win, but I would tease it at 5.5. I would tease it down to 5.5. Then they just got to win by 6 or more, and I think they definitely win by 6. They definitely win by 6 plus. Montana State versus New Mexico, the Lobos. I think this line's about 12.5. I would tease it down to 6.5 here. I would take Montana State at 6.5 here, minus 6.5. I think they win by a touchdown or more. It is an FCS program versus an FBS program, so have some caution with it. But I would take Montana State minus 6.5 against the Lobos. Then the biggest favorite of the week. I think it's like I got to double check the line on this one. But I would tease this one down to 19.5. I think SMU can beat Nevada by 20. You got to beat them by 20. Minimum 20. Nevada's not a good football program. SMU, now, they're a really good football program. They're not really good, but they're a good football program. They're solid. Nevada, they're a bottom of the barrel program. If I'm wrong, please correct me, someone. Please tell me I'm wrong. But SMU is minus 25. I would tease that down to 19.5. So to recap, I got Florida State over Georgia Tech, minus 5.5. Montana, minus 6.5 over the Lobos of New Mexico. The SMU Mustangs, minus 19.5 over the Nevada Wolfpack. That comes out to plus 158. I put 10.56 on it for it to come out to, I can pull up to see if it'll let me see right now. Nope, it's making me log back in. Let's see if it'll log back in quickly. Yep, it just recognizes my face. Give me 1 second. And then before I tell you how much like the odds come out to on that, I would also, if you can find it somewhere, I would take Delaware State plus 40. I think that's too good to pass up. 40 is a hefty line for Hawaii. I don't it's not as much about Delaware State being able to cover. It's that Hawaii I don't think can cover. Like I just don't think Hawaii can cover a 40-point spread. When's the last time they beat a team by 40? Probably like 10 years ago. The Rainbow Warriors ain't covering the spread. I want to actually fact check myself. Scroll through a few games here. I'll just rattle off their games from last year, their scores. They did beat Colorado State, so they were a little better last year than they normally are. They lost to Vanderbilt, who Delaware could definitely beat, by 7. Lost to Stanford by 13. Beat Albany by 11. They lost to Oregon by 45. Okay, it's Oregon. They lost to New Mexico State beat New Mexico State by 3. Lost to UNLV, who's not a good program either, by 24. Lost to San Diego State by 7. They lost to New Mexico, the Lobos, who are underdogs against an FCS team, by 21. They lost to San Jose State by 35. They beat Nevada by 13. They beat Air Force by 14. They lost to Wyoming by 33. They beat Colorado State, which was a decent win, by 3. But this game against Del State, I don't see it. I don't see them covering 40. I would probably have to scroll so far back to see a 40-point win for Hawaii. I'm just scrolling right now just to see if I can find anything close to a 40-point win. I can't find anything close. That's the closest I found. During COVID, Hawaii beat Fresno State 34-19. 15 points is the closest I found. Yeah, I'd take Del State all day if you can find it. And then for the parlay, I actually got the app up while I was talking. So it is actually plus 159, 1056 for a potential payout of 27.29. So you make some money on that. Get me some money for next week and get me some money for week 1 of NFL football. That'll do it for our week 0 predictions. Now, for my Luke's list of this week, my top 5 fantasy steals. We're going to be doing a mock draft right after this. Some of this was all on the fly. I've been working with this new job, getting acclimated with this new job. But here's some steals I think it's good value. Not necessarily that they'll win your league. I just like the value for these guys. I have Cooper Kupp at number 1. He's being picked at the 44th pick right now in the draft. In fantasy drafts on ESPN. I think that's a steal and a half. I think Puka Nacua is being drafted way too high. And Cooper Kupp, if he's healthy, which he should be coming into this year, I take Cooper Kupp at that value all day long. I think that's insane value for Cooper Kupp. When Cooper Kupp the last time Cooper Kupp was healthy, he was the best receiver in all of football. That was only 2 years ago. We're only a year removed from that. Puka Nacua, when Cooper Kupp came back, averaged 7.7 game yards a game, or 7.7 fantasy points a game less than he did at the beginning of the season. I would take Jake Ferguson at that 82 range all day long. I think Jake Ferguson has huge upside as a tight end in that Cowboys offense, especially building a rapport with Dak while CD's holding out. Jake Ferguson CD's not holding out per se, but I would take Jake Ferguson at that number 2 at that 2 spot. or at that 82 spot. Keon Coleman at 111, I would take all day long. I think he has potential to be the number one receiver in that Bills offense. After they lost Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis, they need a number one wideout on the outside. They still have Kincaid, but I think Keon Coleman could carve out a huge role in that offense. I like Zamir White at 67. I haven't seen a lot of people high on him. But last year when he took over touches, I know he's on a bad team, but last year when Jacobs got hurt the final 4 games of the year, Zamir White actually had a decent stretch those final 4 games. He got the touches you want out of a running back. I don't know who his competition is. I think like Ty Chandler or something. Or maybe Alexander Madison might be his competition. Let me double check that. I don't think his competition's great. Yeah, his competition is Alexander Madison, Dylan Lube. I don't even know who that is. And Amir Abdullah. I would take Zamir White at that 67 range, especially with how Zamir finished the season. Alexander Madison isn't great. He puts the ball on the ground. Zamir White, the way he finished the year last year, I'm pulling it up because I took a screenshot recently. There it is. I found the screenshot. So, he had 17 rushes against the Chargers week 15. 22 touches against the Chiefs. 20 touches against the Colts. 25 touches against Denver. He had 17.5 points against the Chargers, 14.5 points against the Chiefs, 15.6 against the Colts, and 13.1 against Denver. I would take that all day long out of an RB2 or a flex. Someone consistent. I like Zamir White at that 67 range, especially if he's getting the touches like he should be. And then at my number 5 spot on Luke's list of the top fantasy draft steals, I got Romeo Doubs at 167. I think 167 is a great value for him. 167 is very low. It's like 15th, 16th pick in a regular ESPN league. And no one knows who's going to take the reins in that offense. I think Romeo Doubs has a chance to do it. Who knows if he will. But I would take a flyer on Romeo Doubs at that 167 range all day long. I think that's great value for him. I don't know why it's low. He should be in like the 120s. I think he should be in about the 120s. He actually caught a touchdown from Jordan Love today in practice against the Ravens corner in a Ravens versus Packers joint practice. Romeo Doubs at that 67 spot, I like it. 167 spot, I like that. Without further ado, though, we're going to get in to an ESPN mock draft for one of my leagues coming up. And I'll just talk through it while I show my screen. I'm going to pull up the mock draft. They're going to pull up the league so I can do the mock draft. No, I don't want to sign into Xfinity. Hold up. Give me a second. ESPN. There's the ESPN site anyway. This is for my 302 FPN FFL league. I just had a voice crack. Don't mind me. We draft in 5 days. I'm going to do a practice draft on there. So if anyone in that league's watching this right now, you get to see a little bit of my strategy, who I might pick. Maybe not. Maybe I'm trying to throw you off. No, I wouldn't do that to my listeners. Going to show you exactly who I would pick. I only get 30 seconds though, so it might not be exact. Could be thrown off a little. You don't get as much time to look. I'm trying to share my screen right now. And I might change my team name in this league. I might name it based off of whoever I pick, like in the actual draft. But here we go. Cox Search, I like that picture there. I might try to add a picture I took with my dad the day of the NFC Championship game. But we draft next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Going to do a practice draft. I have the 11th pick in the draft in a 12-team PPR league. No funny like rules to it or whatever. I just got the notification on my phone. And here we go for the practice draft. gonna start in 16 seconds. I'll tell you who I would pick as we go through. Keep you guys updated. At this one spot, I think the top pick should be Tyreek Hill. He's questionable right now, but CeeDee Lamb has a contract issues bugging him. Christian McCaffrey has a calf injury bugging him. And the CPU took Breece Hall first overall. You can see the picks on the right side. Tyreek Hill didn't go until 8. That's insane. Saquon Barkley, 10. At this spot, if AJ Brown is at this spot, I take AJ Brown all day. I don't care that I have him on my other league where I had the 9th pick. Also, if Tyreek Hill falls to 8, that's a travesty. But I take AJ Brown at the 11th spot all day long, and I don't second guess it. Now, like I said, I'm not a fan of Puka Nacua this year. Kyren Williams would be a decent pick. I would not want the same team as I got in my other league. So I would go Kyren Williams here just because how he finished last year. Gonna look at his thing real quick. Does it have a game log? I got 11 seconds. I'm gonna make a pick. I'm just gonna draft Kyren Williams. I would go Travis Etienne or Derrick Henry here because I don't want duplicate players, and I already got one duplicate player. Derrick Henry just win. Who's DJ picking? He picks Nico Collins. Oh no, Nico Collins goes to Philly. My top player on my board right now would likely be Josh Jacobs or Cooper Kupp because I don't like having players from like the same team either. Ayuk's here, but I got Ayuk in another league. I got Cooper Kupp in another league. Jacobs is gone. Could go QB. Who did? Let's see who. I only got a few seconds. I'm gonna go Jalen Hurts because the next guy is an Eagles fan. Then I could get my pick of receiver at that next spot. There's 3 receivers I like. Alvin Kamara and DJ Moore. I think you would go like a Devontae. But I got Ayuk in another league. I got Cooper Kupp in another league. So I think here I would consider actually Waddle or Neighbors, but I would not be able to get Neighbors at my next pick. So I might take a stab at Neighbors here. And I'm just seeing how this draft would play out. This is how I would do a mock. Like, this might not be my official team, how I actually do it. But I like the target share Neighbors is going to get. And he won't be available at my next pick, so I'll take a stab on him. And I get the Hurts and A.J. Brown stack, which I like a lot. Sorry for taking a sip of the water. My mouth is like very dry right now for some reason. At this spot, I took Jonathan Brooks in another league. I need a running back. I don't like the receiver range. I personally, in this spot, will go DeAndre Swift. I like the spot for him. Him in Chicago this year, I think he's going to get some touchdowns and an improved Chicago offense. He's not older on the older side. I'll go Swift. Get a Swifty there. I'm actually a big fan of Kyle Pitts this year. He would be on my board. Terry McLaurin, Christian Kirk. I think I can get receivers at the later rounds. And I don't like not having a top tight end. Amari Cooper could be a good pick here. I don't like Tank Dell at this spot. I would go Kyle Pitts with the clock ticking down. Get me a tight end, secure my tight end position, and then worry when we come back around to it, to my next pick. Let's see how Strange Play is doing because that's who we want to block for. So he has 3 running backs, 3 receivers so far. So 2 receivers. So he's more likely to take a receiver next. So our next pick at pick 83 would be a wide receiver. Christian Kirk would be my target, but I think he just got taken. Deontay I like to spearhead that offense. Christian Watson. Don't like these values much. I would personally I only got 2 running backs, but I only got 2 receivers. I would personally go Deontay Johnson. I think Deontay Johnson's gonna have, like, a Thielen type of year that Thielen had last year. I think Deontay's gonna get some targets there from Bryce Young. At this next spot, I don't like the values of running backs. Eckler, I could get, I don't like Javonte. I don't like the values at this range. I think, though, I would go Keon Coleman just 'cause I think he could have a break I think he could be amazing, and in that Bills offense, he's gonna be their top target probably. Keon Coleman, so I'd be set at receiver. I'd have AJ Brown, Malik Neighbors, Deontay Johnson, Keon Coleman. If Malik Neighbors and Keon Coleman show out like they can, this team could be great at the end of the year. And that's exactly when you need them to be great. And I don't know why it's flipping back and forth like that between players and pick history. That's odd to me. At this spot, I would be worried this next dude would steal my pick. Like, I'd be very worried this next dude would steal my pick, and I'd want him because when he comes back, he could be an RB2, RB1 for me if he's healthy. I'll go Nick Chubb here. I will go Nick Chubb and then hope my next guy's there. You know, target him. And he is. Let me double check. Let me scroll a little through this board. Brian Thomas, I like. I just picked him in another league. I think Chase Brown is getting underrated. I'm not a fan of Gus Edwards. I'll say why in a second. Hawkinson, I don't need. Okay, so my pick here would be J.K. Dobbins. I think if J.K. Dobbins can be healthy, I think J.K. Dobbins is a great pick at that spot. It's actually sharing the wrong screen, I think. Sorry, I've been sharing the wrong screen the entire time. I just noticed that. Now I think I'm sharing the right screen. Yeah, I am. Okay. So yeah, my team so far is Jalen Hurts, Kyron Williams, Swift, AJ Brown, Neighbors, Keon Coleman, Nick Chubb, J.K. Dobbins. My next pick, I don't like my running back situation. I like my receiver situation with the young receivers. My next pick with 15 seconds on the clock. I like Jalen Wright this year. I would go Jacoby Myers. I would go Jacoby Myers. He's gonna get some in Oakland or Las Vegas. In a good Packers offense, actually, in a good Packers actually, I would go Antonio Gibson. I was looking at Marshawn Lloyd, but I'd go Gibson, a trusted guy. You know he's good out of the backfield, so he's gonna get receiving touches. Antonio Gibson would be my pick there. So I got 5 running backs, 5 receivers. I would need Nick Chubb to come back sooner rather than later. But I also like taking injured players because you can stash them. Let's see who's on the board for my next pick. Romeo Dobbs is there, someone I said I like the value of. Jalen Wright is there. I like him this year. Thielen I like, but I already got Deontay. Jahan Dotson's there. I'm running out of time. What's Strange Plays team looking like? I would go Romeo Dobbs and hope he doesn't take Jalen Wright, and he did. I would go Tyrone Tracy here. Tyrone Tracy's a little bigger, I think, than Devin Singletary. He could become the third down back. It's not a strong offense, but I could take him, and then I could hopefully try to stack Elijah Mitchell. I already got Elijah Mitchell in another league, so I'll take Tyrone Tracy there. I would take something else just to switch up my teams, so my teams aren't like the same. Now with 2 picks left, we're coming up on around 15. The defense I really like is gone. Actually, are they gone? Let me double check. Yeah, they're gone. I would go the Falcons here. I like the Falcons at this spot. The Falcons, just with their Jesse Bates pick or Justin Simmons pick up, Matt Judon. I'd take the Falcons there as my defense and kicker. You can and at kicker, I would actually ride with Tyler Bass here at kicker, or Jason Sanders. I think I'd go Tyler Bass there because I think the Bills' offense could stall out at points this year, which could lead to more points for Tyler Bass. That's my team in this draft. I'm gonna wait until this finishes up, and then I'm gonna show you I'm gonna look at my email and see what it says the grade is. I actually really like this team. Dude, who would agree? I don't like the back end of it. The bench would be iffy. But if Nick Chubb returns to form to any degree and J.K. Dobbins breaks out this year, this could be a really good team. It's health dependent and rookie dependent, almost like any fantasy team is. Looking it up, though, what the email says. Give it 1 second. Boom, 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 boom. Fantasy football draft results. The grade, it never gives me a good grade for some reason. Oh, this is my first B that ESPN app has given me. It actually gave me a B. It liked this draft because I got a strength at QB. Weakness at kicker, but who cares about a weakness at kicker? I think it's because I finally drafted a tight end. So they finally gave me a good grade. DJ Street Boys got an A. That was the second highest grade. 2-minute warning. Steve Bufflap got a B. None of them were drafting in this. Just reading off what it gave each person. Team Dogs, Brian Estrada Rojas get a B. Show me them TDs. I don't know who that is. He got a B. Philly got a B. That's Sean. Morgan got a B. Alex got a B. Glenn got a B. T got a B. Glenn got a C. T got a C. The defending champion, Strange Play, Sonny got a C. And then Tom's team got a C. So that's how this draft played out. My team was actually ranked the second best according to ESPN, which is crazy. I'm all right with this team. I'd be all right with this team. I wouldn't mind a team like this. We'll see how it plays out when the draft comes. Maybe if I get home. Oh, no, I won't be able to. I was going to say maybe I could do a live draft for it, but I guess I won't be able to. Thank you for tuning into this episode, though. That'll do it for episode 55 of Uncaged Sports Talk. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe on all of our platforms. It is greatly appreciated. Next week, we will do an episode on week 1 of college football and then week 1 of NFL. I'll hopefully get 2 episodes out that week to make up for not doing an episode last week. I know, sorry for not having an episode last week, but I'll hopefully get 2 out week 1 of NFL football. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, like I already said. If I already said it, lost track, I thought. But tune in next week for episode 56 of Uncaged Sports Talk.